First, I'm going to show you how you can repair different types of resin or ceramic ornaments. So this one was dropped, and it would be a shame to throw out this ornament just because it cracked in a couple of places. It came apart. So what we use to fix these kinds of ornaments is super glue gel or just straight super glue. We like to use the coral glue that we carry. Reason being is we know this stuff's going to be safe for the aquarium. It's made for reef tanks. So it's nice and safe and also practical. So what you're going to do is just apply a little bit of glue to the two spots. You don't want to put too much glue so it spills out everywhere. You want just enough that it's going to spread out underneath when you press down on the busted part. Oh, almost lost it. Once you've applied the glue, you're going to make sure you line it up exactly how it broke. Just double check before you press it in because you want it to stay there once you press it in there. So first arm, you're going to press down and hold it. Count to 10, 20 maybe, 30 if you're feeling patient. And then we're going to do the next guy. The super glue gel doesn't set immediately, which is nice because if you did get it in the wrong spot, you can kind of lift it out and replace it if necessary. And that's that. Now we're just going to give it about 15 to 20 minutes to completely dry before we stick it in an aquarium. Although even if you did put it in like this, the glue is safe for the tank, so you don't have to worry about that. Next up, a common problem. This happens and you're like, what am I going to do now? My plant's just going to float and then it's not going to stay put. But we want it to stay put. You need the weight at the bottom for it to stay put. So we're going to use a little bit of aquarium safe silicone and we're going to repair this plastic plant. So what we're going to do is just apply a little bit of silicone around the base here, just like this. You don't want to use too much. Then just going to push it back on like this. Push down nice and hard. You'll see a little bit of the silicone has come up through the bottom. And that's that. This is going to take roughly 24 hours to dry before it's aquarium safe. You don't want to stick anything that's got silicone on it that hasn't fully cured yet directly into your aquarium. And keep in mind, the thicker you apply the silicone, the longer it's going to take to dry. Next up, what if you have a plastic plant that has no base anymore? You lost it, or it broke and shattered into pieces, and now it's gone, it's dust in the wind. Well, we have a solution. Ha 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 ha, ta da 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 da. This is a two-part epoxy putty that is often used for mounting corals to live rock inside of reef tanks. This epoxy putty is actually perfect for making a new base for the plastic plant. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, we get it out of the tube, grab a pair of scissors, and cut a generous amount. I say generous because we're essentially going to create a little rock on the bottom. So cut a little part off, then you're going to unpackage it. You can pull the little silver dewey off the end if it's a brand new stick. And what you're going to do with this two-part epoxy is just knead it in your hands, mash it all up, turn it into itself, squish it all together and mix it thoroughly. This is essentially what's going to create the chemical reaction in the putty to turn it into a stone-like substance when you're all done. This putty's completely aquarium safe. The other thing about this Two Little Fishies putty is that it's also safe to put in the tank to cure. So let's say you get it all finished and it's not 100% cured. You can still drop it in the tank. It's going to be completely safe for that. So it's looking pretty good right about now. Just going to take the plant and we're going to bunch it all up at the bottom of the plant here. If you want to get fancy with it, you can and try to make it look like a stone or a piece of wood or whatever floats your boat. There you go. Now your plant has a base and it's weighted. So maybe you've got some stuff hanging around from previous aquariums or just some broken ornaments that you don't know what to do with. I'm going to show you how you can essentially make your own ornament from scratch using just, whatever you've got lying around for your tank. You could also do this with some brand new stuff and you're just trying to make an ornament that's going to stay together and keep everything nice and weighted at the bottom of the tank. This works well too. Got a piece of stone here. This is dragon stone. A small piece of driftwood that broke off a larger piece. And then some just generally, broken plastic plants and some smaller ones here. So I'm going to use a few different methods to make this one big fancy ornament. First off, I'm going to use the silicone, and I'm going to find a nice convenient spot that feels pretty good for this driftwood, and I'm going to silicone it in place. Just make sure you find all the points of contact because that's where you're going to want to apply the silicone. I like black silicone. You can also use clear. Clear dries clear. Black is obviously going to dry black. So if you want to make sure you don't see any of the silicone, you might want to use the clear. I don't mind seeing it, so I'm just going to stick with my black. Feel free to always turn it over if you like and add silicone between points where it didn't initially meet. All right. Next up, we're going to find some places to stick these plastic plants, but I'm going to make sure that they stay put, I'm going to be using the epoxy putty. I've got 2 plants, so I'm going to cut it in half. Start with this batch right here. Next, we're going to use some of the super glue gel to attach these plants. Now I'm actually going to get rid of the bases and some of the excess at the bottom and attach just this part of the plant to the driftwood. And there you got it. Now I've made an ornament that doesn't exist, completely custom, out of some random stuff that I had lying around. And now I feel accomplished. And I think it'll look awesome in a tank.